piece of the week is a piece called Canon in D by Pachelbel, a German composer. Now, we don't know the exact date of when this piece was written, but it was somewhere in the late 1600s, so quite a few hundred years ago. We're going to learn today how to play the bass part, the repetitive bass part that goes all the way through this piece called Canon in D. But then I'm going to give you a demonstration about how this very same extract of music was used in some quite recent pop music. And actually, as you've probably gathered from, if you've done any of the other exercises and done any of the listening over the past few weeks, repetition in music is not a new thing. It's been going on for hundreds and hundreds of years, and it's a really interesting and quite a common compositional device. So it's quite a common thing that you might hear in lots of pieces of music, whether they're classical or popular, or in fact other styles as well. So the Canon in D uses this repetitive part called a ground bass. It takes place in the lower end of the keyboard or in a low instrument like the cello, and it is just some notes that last for 2 beats each, and I'll go through them now. So we've got a D, then an A, then a B, then an F sharp, a black note, then a G, then a D, then a G, then an A, and then it repeats. So I'll do it again. And you'll notice that sometimes I'm playing that D, sometimes I'm playing a lower D. So try and get the correct one by following the pattern of whether I'm going lower or higher on the keyboard. Again, you can do this on any tuned instrument, but try and get the relationship correct between the higher notes going lower, tends to go lower, this one, and then it kind of comes back up after that low D. So that's called the ground bass. That's the repetitive part of the Pachelbel's Canon. And what then happens, and you'll hear this when you listen to the track that features some stringed instruments, is that then the melody comes in, but still you have that, no you don't, you have that bass part going on the whole time. So it will just keep playing over and over, okay? Now, as I was saying before, repetition is something you'll hear in a lot of pop music, and that particular bass part has been used in at least 2 songs. And again, I've given you the links to have a listen to them on the worksheet. So one of them is called All Together Now. So if I play it, you'll hear that exact same bass part, and if I just sing the tune over the top, you'll hear how, in a way, it's been completely transformed just by adding in some lyrics and some chords. And of course, when you hear the proper track, you'll hear it's quite electronic. So it's something that's been taken from hundreds of years ago and then updated. Okay, so All Together Now is something like this. All together now, all together now, all together now, in no man's land. And again, that bass part just repeats throughout that whole song. Another one is a Pet Shop Boys song called Go West. And you'll see that I'm just playing the exact same bass part as before, but with some different lyrics over the top. Go west, life is peaceful there. Go west, in the open air. Go west, where the skies are blue. Go west, this is what you're gonna do. So again, the Pet Shop Boys use Pachelbel's bass part from his Canon in D for their piece. So I hope you enjoy learning the bass part, and also have a listen to the track and have a go answering the questions all about the different instruments and the tempo that you hear in Pachelbel's Canon in D.